In a world just packed with headlines, rising gas prices, AI breakthroughs, political drama, one monthly release quietly shapes the financial trajectory of millions. The US Jobs Report. It doesn't make for viral news clips, but honestly, it's arguably the single most important economic indicator for everyday Americans. Behind every statistic in this report lies a question we all face. Is the economy working for me? Will wages keep up with grocery bills? Is it a good time to change jobs, buy a house, or finally start that business you've dreamed about? The May 2025 Jobs Report doesn't scream crisis or celebration. It tells a more subtle, nuanced story. The economy is growing but cautiously. Wages are rising but fewer people are working. Inflation is easing but the Federal Reserve remains watchful. This report doesn't deliver easy answers, but it offers valuable signals. Whether you're a young professional, a small business owner, or someone nearing retirement, this is the economic weather report you just can't afford to ignore. And if you know how to read it, it can help you decide what to do with your paycheck, your savings, and your future plans. Let's break it all down. What the numbers mean, what industries are hiring, and how it all could affect your wallet in the months ahead. The May 2025 US Jobs Report, released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, paints a portrait of a labor market as holding firm while gradually cooling. The economy added 139,000 non-farm payroll jobs, which is slightly below the 12-month average of 149,000. This suggests that while employers are still adding jobs, the pace of hiring is beginning to slow compared to the aggressive post-pandemic recovery years. Even with this moderation, the unemployment rate remained unchanged at 4.2% for the third month in a row. That stability implies that job seekers aren't facing sudden upheaval, but also that new job creation isn't surging. More troubling was the 0.2 percentage point decline in the labor force participation rate, which fell to 62.4%. That equates to about 625,000 people leaving the labor force, a drop that could reflect early retirements, long-term illness, or a skills mismatch. Similarly, the employment population ratio, a measure of the proportion of the working age population currently employed, fell by 0.3 percentage points to 59.7%. Taken together, these shifts indicate that the US labor market is no longer running as hot as it once was. The post-pandemic boom has matured, and we may be entering a new phase of slower, steadier employment growth. The job gains in May were not evenly distributed. Some sectors are still showing robust growth, while others are beginning to shed workers or hold flat. Healthcare was a clear standout, adding 62,000 jobs. Hospitals alone accounted for 20,000 new positions, while outpatient care services added 29,000 positions. The aging US population, rising demand for mental health services, and ongoing post-pandemic recovery needs continue to drive this sector's strength. Leisure and hospitality also saw notable growth, adding 48,000 jobs, with most of the gains coming from food services and drinking establishments. Americans are still spending on travel and dining, bolstering service sector employment. In social assistance, 16,000 new jobs were added, evidence of sustained demand for community support services, likely linked to rising childcare needs and mental health support. On the other hand, the federal government cut 22,009 jobs in May, part of a broader trend of contraction. Since January 2025, federal employment is down by 59,000 positions. This decline is linked to fiscal tightening programs promoted by the Trump administration. It marks a reversal from prior years where government hiring was strong. Despite the slower job growth, workers continued to see strong wage gains. Average hourly earnings for private sector employees rose by 0.4% in May, bringing the 12-month wage increase to 3.9%, with inflation now hovering closer to 3%. This suggests real wage growth, meaning, workers' paychecks are stretching further than they did a year ago. However, the jobs report included downward revisions for the 2 prior months. March's payrolls were revised down by 57,000 and April's by 38,000, meaning the economy added 95,000 fewer jobs than initially reported. This casts a shadow over the May numbers, implying that job growth may have been weaker for longer than previously thought. Investors seem to interpret the report as a sign that the Federal Reserve will hold steady or potentially cut interest rates later in the year. The stock market responded positively. The S&P 500 rose by 0.9%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average climbed 344 points, which is 0.8%, and the Nasdaq jumped 1.2%, buoyed by tech stocks like Nvidia, Apple, and Tesla. Before we continue, if this video is helping you out, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. It lets YouTube know that this is worth sharing. Now let's go back to the video. On the political front, President Donald Trump praised the report, calling it proof that America is hot and renewed pressure on the Fed to cut interest rates by a full percentage point. That kind of cut would be aggressive by modern standards, but it reflects the growing political scrutiny of monetary policy as the 2026 election season ramps up. For the Federal Reserve, the May jobs report presents a mixed picture. Steady wage growth and moderate job creation indicate inflation pressures may be easing, while declining participation could be a warning sign of slack in the labor market. The Fed will likely interpret this report as justification for a wait-and-see approach, avoiding further rate hikes unless inflation reaccelerates. For everyday Americans, the May 2025 jobs report offers both reassurance and a quiet warning. The labor market is still growing, wages are rising, and a soft landing appears within reach. But slower job creation and declining participation suggest a less dynamic job market, where stability, not rapid expansion, is the new norm. So how should you respond? Revisit your budget and financial goals. With wage growth outpacing inflation, now is a good time to redirect extra earnings toward emergency savings, paying down credit cards, or investing in tax-advantaged accounts like Roth IRAs or HSAs. Watch interest rates. If the Fed begins cutting rates in late 2025, borrowing could become cheaper. This might be your window to refinance high-interest debt or lock in a mortgage at a lower rate if your job and finances are stable. If you work in sectors seeing flat or negative job growth, like government or certain tech subfields, consider earning a new certification or exploring adjacent industries. The labor market is still rewarding specialized talent. Diversify your income. A more uncertain job market makes side hustles, freelancing, or small business ventures a smart hedge against future layoffs or stagnating wages. Stay alert, not anxious. The report doesn't suggest a recession, but it does signal slower momentum. Stay flexible with your career expectations and remain proactive in financial planning. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want more clear, no-nonsense financial advice, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a new video. See you next time.